And that now we know what is a function and what is a domain as well as the range. So now let's see the way we can have to evaluate the domain as well as the range and given some sort of problems. And mind you, domain is the same as the input and the range is the same as the output. So let's see the way we should have to brand with these actually two terms. Let's say we have a function given as, let's say, f of x is equal to, let's say, 2x squared minus 1. So what is f of 0 and what is f of, let's say, 2 and what is, let's say, f of negative 1 and for the function. Mind you, 0 is the input and the output will be given as f of actually 0. So in this case, where there is x, I'm going to put 0 in the function. Now I have 2 times 0 to the power 2 minus 1. That will be given as, now should be given as negative 1. So which means f of 0, it is given as the negative 1. So that's the output of input 0. And likewise, f of 2, we'll have 2 times 2 to the power 2 into minus 1. That will be given as, so this is 4 and times 2, have it as 8. The 8 minus 1 is given as 7. So which means this is the output of the input actually 2. And f of negative 1, we'll have it as 2 times negative 1 to the power 2 minus 1. That will be given as, so what's that? So this is 1 times 2, we have it as 2. 2 minus 1 given as should be 1. So that's how you have to understand about the input as well as the output and for such function. And what if you have this case now? Let's say we have a function given as f of x, let's say is equal, should be now x squared and minus 3x and plus 1. So now what is f of should be now negative 1 for the function? So now principle remains the same. Where there is x, I'm going to put negative 1. So have negative 1 to the power 2 minus 3 negative 1 and plus 1. So now have it as a 1 plus 3 and plus 1, much as negative 3 times negative 1. So that is, so which means now have it as a 5. So which means whenever an input is 1, output is given as 5. And how about if we have, let's say, f of z? What is the value of the f of z? Now principle remains the same. Z is the input of the function. So where there is x, I'm going to put actually where there is actually x, we're going to put z. So now have it as z to the power 2 minus 3z and plus 1. So that's the way to go. So bear that in mind. And what about if we have, let's say, the same function f of x, which is equal to x to the power 2 minus 3x and plus 1. Now you should have to evaluate what is f of negative x in this case. So how do you think you should have to go for this function? Now negative x is the input of the function. So where there is x, I'm going to put negative x in that way. So now we have it as negative x to the power 2 minus 3 negative x and plus 1. So now which means we'll have it as x squared and plus 3x and plus 1. So that's the way to go. So which means that one is a part of the output. So which means when the input is given as, now should be a negative x, output is given as actually that one. So take note of that. How about if we have this other case as well and see how we can be able to make it fine, to make it okay, or how we can be able to play around with that one. Let's say we have to evaluate f of a plus 1 and for this case. So a plus 1 was said to be the input of the function. So where there is x, x is going to put a plus 1. So what's that? So now have it as a plus 1 to the power 2 minus 3 times a plus 1 and plus 1 actually in that way. So which means here you have to expand in the sense that this is the same as a plus 1 times now should be a plus 1. The minus now have to distribute negative 3. That will be given as negative 3a minus 3 in that plus 1. So have to actually expand there. We'll have it as a square and plus 2a and plus 1. That is upon having the overall expansion. So understanding what is happening there, then we'll have negative 3a and should be minus 3. So should be that. So minus 3 and plus 1. So now having the like terms together, we'll have a square and 2a minus 3a will have it as negative a and 1 plus 1 will have it as 2. So that's what you have to understand. So which means when input is given as a plus 1, this is the output. So now you know what is happening there. Now what if we have this case now? Let's say we have a function and say f of x. Let's say it is given as a 4 minus 3x. Let's say it should be that. So what is f of 2 of a function? So in this case we'll have it as 4 minus 3 times 2. That will be given as 4 minus 6. So now I'll have it as a negative 2. So which means the input of a 2 will have the output given as actually a negative 2. So you should have to get that one up to that. And what if we have this case now? And see how best you should have to try that one out. Let's say you have now should be f of, let's say negative x. So what is that? So I have 4 minus a 3. Where there is x, I can put negative x. So now have it as that. So have a 4 plus 3x. So that is the way to go and for that function. And what if we add to a variable, let's say should be, let's say f of x squared. So what is that one? X squared is said to be the input of the function. So now have it as 4 minus 3 x to the power 2. So now have it as 4 minus 3x squared. So that is the way to go. So we're just following the definition of the input as well as the output. Nothing much at all. And what if we add to a variable, let's say negative f of x. So what is that one? So now you have to understand that what is the f of x? F of x is the whole function, and which means we'll have to multiply that one by negative as it stands there. So which means this is the same as negative times f of x, which is given as 4 minus 3x. So now which means we'll have it as negative 4 and plus 3x. So that's the way to go. So just have to play around with some sort of algebra here. And now what if we add to a variable, let's say 2f of x. So what's this? So now this is the same as 2 times, what is f of x? It is the same function. Now I'll have it as now 4 minus a 3x. So that will be given as 8 minus 6x. So have that and as that. And what if we have this case now? Let's say we have x squared times f of x. So now principle remains the same. This is the same as x squared times what is the f of x? Have it as 4 minus 3x. And that will be given as 4x squared minus 3x cubed. That is upon distributing negative. Actually, that is upon distributing x to the power 2 and insert there. And so now what if we have this case? Let's see, now we have should be a function f of x. let's say it is equal to 3x squared now. So what is a4 of x? Let's say to the power 2. In that case, what is that on? So now principle remains the same. What is f of x that we have? It is the same as this, actually the same function. So now have 3x squared and to the power 2, of which this is the same as having it as a 3 to the power 2 and x to the power 2 and that times 2 as well, because according to the laws of indices, if we have ab and overall to the power m, this is the same as a to the power m and b to the power m. So have that understand. So this is what I can choose in that case. In that case now. So have 9 x to the power 4. So that's the analysis. Now what if we have this case? And also see how we can be able to master that and out for the same function. Right, what if we have to evaluate f of x and over 2? So what is that on? So now this is the same as 3x squared divided by 2. That is the given as that. So anyways, but that's how you should have to get that and up to. And now, what if we have now this case? Yes, now what if we have a g of, let's say g of x, let's say it is given as, should be 4x minus 6 and divide by, let's say x minus 4. Yes, now given that a g of x is given as 14, let's now find the value of x. Now we're given the function g of x given as this, and we have been given as g of x is given as actually 14 now, which means 14 is said to be the output. So what is the input whenever the output is given as 14? And that is for x. So that's the essence behind. So now in this case we'll have it as g of x. It is the same as 14. So where there is g of x, I'm going to put 14. So now have it as a 14 is equal 4x minus 6 divided by x minus 4. So have to cross multiply. We'll have it as a 14. The x in terms actually x minus 4 is equal, now have it as a 4x minus 6. So now we'll have it as, so what is 14 times negative 4? So what's that? So 14 times 4. So have it as a 56. So we have 14x minus 56, which is equal to 4x minus 6. Now having the right terms together, I'll have it as a 14x minus 4x, which is equal to, now have to bring 56, negative 56 to the other side. That will be now given as negative 6 plus now 56. So now have it as a 10x, which is equal to negative, now should be positive 50. So in this case we'll have x being given as, it should be 10. So that's how we make it up to. So which means whenever the input is given as 10, output has to be given as 14. So that is, so about if we have this case. And also have to appreciate how we can be able to make that an up to. Let's say have g of x that given as 4. So what is the actually a value of x if that's the case? So which means 4 is the output of the function. So in this case we'll have it as 4 is equal to 4x minus 6 divided by x minus 4. Now principle remains the same. Cross multiplication will have it as a 4 times x minus 4, which is equal to 4x minus 6. So which is the same as 4x, and minus 16, which is equal to 4x minus 6. So that's the same as, so now we'll have it as 4x minus 4x, and which is equal to negative 6, and plus 16, and of which 4x will have it as 0. So there's no real solution in that for this case. So which means actually 4 is not the part of the input of the function. So that is, now what if you have this case now? Now what if we have a function, let's say we have a function h of x is given as, let's say, x squared minus 6x. So it is now what is h of, let's say, h of 2 of the function? So now 2 is said to be the input of the function, so which means we'll have it as 2 to the power 2 minus 6 times 2. We'll have it as 4 minus 12. That will be given as a negative 8. So that one. And how about if we have to go for this one as well? And how about, let's say, f of 0 should be h of 0, that should be h of 0. So what's that one? H of 0. What is h of 0? So have 0 to the power 2 minus 6. So that will be given as 0 minus 0. We'll have it as 0 there. So take note of that. Now what if we have, let's say, h of x being given as, let's say, 16. So what is the value of the input if the output is given as 16? Yes, now which means we'll have a 16 which is equal to x squared minus 6x. Now we'll have x squared minus 6x, that which is equal to 16. That is the same as that. So have x squared minus 6x and minus 16 which is equal to 0. Let's now have to solve for x using this is now quadratic equation. So what method should we have to use? Do you think the direct is actually, do you think a factor method will work? Of course it will work. So now which means we'll have x squared should be now a plus, now should be plus 2x minus 8x minus 16 is equal to 0. So if you tend to forget about how do we solve the quadratic equations using the factor method or whichever the method, just have to refer to actually the previous lessons about this. Just have to check, or I'll provide the link in the descriptions below, and in the comment section. You have to you have to go through that one in case you forget that one. So have to pair up the terms in that case. So now we'll have the common factor for these two given as x. So have x and x plus 2. Now have negative should be 8 x plus 2, and which is equal to 0. So now have x plus 2 and that times x minus 8 which is equal to 0. Now which means we'll have x is equal to now negative 2 and x is equal to 8. So those are the solutions that satisfies that one. So just have to practice much, you get used to these things. They are very simple whenever you are working on them in that frequently. So don't just have to keep these things as if they'll produce another ones. No, that's not the principle behind school. You just have to practice much, you enjoy school. Now what if we have f of x? It should be h of x, that should be actually h of x. We have h of x let's say being given as, that should be, let's say, negative 10. So what is the value of x? So now have negative 10 is equal to x squared minus 6x. And also try this one at your own time. Now if we have, let's say, h of x, let's say it is given as negative 9. Also try that one as well, that will have the values of x. Let's have to consider this case as well. Let's say we have a function, let's say g of x is given as, let's say, 2ax square plus, let's say, 4b. Now given that g of x, it is given as 2, and we also have g of x being given as, let's say, negative 4. What is the values of a as well as b if this is the case? So now we have two cases in the function actually for the problem. We have the first case where the output is given as actually 2, and the other case where the output is given as negative 4. So what's that? Let's just have to do with the first part, actually first part as. Let's just have to do let's start with the first case where the output is given as 2. So now see that g of x, it is the same function. So now we can have it as, it should be that of 2 is equal, now have it as 2a times 2 to the power 2 and that plus 4b, which is the same as 2 is equal, now have it as, should be 8a plus 4b. Now this is equation 1. And also do the same with another one. We'll have it as negative 4, which is equal to 2a times negative 4 to the power 2 and that plus 4b. And of which you have that one as negative 4 is equal to, should be 16a and that plus 4b. So this is given as equation 2. So you'll be able to solve for a as well as b using now you're going to solve those two equations simultaneously. I understand you know how to solve actually to deal with simultaneous equations. So if you missed that one out, just have to also check in the description below. I'll also provide the link on how we have to solve equations simultaneously, but just have to refer to that particular lesson we discussed about that one. And also try to appreciate this problem. And say, let's say we have f of x is given us now negative 2x squared. Let's say plus 6x and plus k. Now we are sure that, let's say, f of 0 is given as, let's say, negative 1. What is the value of k if this is the case? Let's say f of 0 is given as negative 1. What is the value of k? So now, in this case, we have the input given as 0 and the output is given as a negative 1. So now we'll have it as a negative 1. Now you have to understand that f of actually 0. What is f of 0? Where there's x, are going to put 0. So now we'll have it as negative 2 0 to the power 2 plus 6 times 0 and plus k, which means f of 0 is equal, now have here 0 plus 0 and plus k. But what is f of 0? We have it as a negative 1, so which means we have negative 1 is equal to k. So k is given as a negative 1. So that is. And let's say we have also this case. Let's say we have a function f of x, let's say is given as x squared minus 3xk and minus 4, and given that should be given that f of x should be given that f of, let's say 1 is given as -2. Find the value of k. Also try to have that problem out on your own, and I appreciate how best you have to go for that one. That is. And what if we have, let's say, h of x, and that being given as x squared, and that should be minus 4x and then minus c. Let's now find the actually non-zero. Find the non-zero value of c. It can be value or values of c, and that is when h of c is given as c. So what is that one? How should we be able to have the non-zero values of actually c when we have a function given as h of x is equal to that one, and given that h of c is given as c? So now principle means the same, nothing's new there. So which means actually c is the input of the function. So now what is the h of c? We'll have it as a c to the power 2 minus 4 times c into minus c. But what is actually h of c? We have it as c is equal to a c squared minus 4c and minus c, of which this is the same as c squared minus 4c minus c is equal to c. And in that case, we'll have it as a c squared minus 4c minus c. Now should be these are like terms like that. Now we should have, of course we should have them this before everything. Let me not have to confuse you in the way to go, but it is the same, but I just actually have to simplify it first. So now we have a c is equal to a c squared minus a 5c, of which we'll have a c squared minus 5c is equal to c. Now in this case we'll have it as a c squared and minus 5c and plus c, which is equal to 0. So we'll have that understand. So in that case we'll have c squared and minus 6c is equal to 0. So now we'll have to factor out c. We'll have c and c minus 6, which is equal to 0. So now we have two solutions there. So we'll have two solutions there. So we are going to have two solutions, and I should have to see. So now which means we'll have c is equal to 0, and also c minus 6 is equal to 0, of which will be given as 6. Now since we are told that we should have to evaluate the values of c, which is it, and result, it means the solution will be given as this, not this one, because the condition was that we should have to evaluate the value of a c which is in an zero. So in an zero means the value should not be equal to 0. That's what it means there. And think about this one also. Let's think of having this case. Let's say we have f of x is given as cx squared and plus, let's say, a dx. And given that should be f of 1 is given as 4, and f of, let's say, 2 is given as, let's say, 10. Find the values of c as well as d in that case. So now let's start with the f of 1 being given as actually 4. So what is f of 1? We'll have it as c 1 to the power 2 plus d times 1. So now have it as a c plus d. But what is f of 1? We have it as a 4. So have 4 is equal to that one, which is equation 1. And also do the same with that one. You'll be able to solve a c and d simultaneously. So take note of that. And also let's finally have to look at this case as well. You know, sometimes you can also have to play around with these cases by looking at by also having this kind of a problems. Now let's say we have a function f of x is given us, let's say, x minus a divided by x minus a divided by x plus a. Now let's say this is the function. Now what is f of a in this case? Now it should be this now. So show whether f of 3a is equal, let's say, f of a plus, let's say, f of 2a. And for the function, we should have to show whether this is true. So we should have to evaluate what is f of 3a, what is this one, and also what is that one. And for us to have the solution of that one. So what is the f of 3a? So which means where there is x, I'm going to put 3a. So now have a 3a minus a divided by 3a and the plus a, which is the same as, now should be 2a divided by a 4a. So that and that will have 1 over 2. And what is f of a? So now we'll have f of a being given as actually a minus a divided by a plus a, which is given as so let's have to have those cases. So we have f of 3a being given as half, and f of a is given as 0. Of course, that's and what is the f of 2a? So now we'll have it as 2a minus a, and divided by 2a, and plus should be a, which is the same as, now have it as, now should be given as a divided by a 3a. So that and that will have it as 1 over 3. So now which means we have 1 over 3 as the value of f of 2a. So now let's think of substituting this into that one. So now we have 1 over 2 actually is equal to 0 plus 1 over 3. So they are not the same, as you can see. So now what if we have this case now? What if we have this case? Now show that f of 5a, show that f of 5a is equal, now should be, is equal to f of 2a. So we should have to show that one. So what is f of 5a? So now have it as a 5a minus a divided by 5a plus a. That is given as a 4a divided by a 6a. So that and that one will have it as, now should be given as, should be 2 over 3. That is. Then now what is a f of 2a? So what was that one? I missed it. 2a is equal, f of 2a is equal, so we'll have it as, now should be about a 2a minus a divided by 2a plus a, which is the same as a over 3a. So now we'll have it as 1 over 3. So that is. So should be 1 over 3. So we have 2 over 3, and f of 2a, we have it as 1 over 3. Now let's think of substituting this into that one. So we have 2 over 3, which is equal to 2 times 1 over 3, which is literally equal to 2 over 3 is given as 2 over 3. So it is true here. So at your own time, try also to have these problems out. Let's say we have f of x, and which is equal to 5x cubed. So it should be that plus 5 over x cubed, and minus x, and should be minus 1 over x. Let me just have to properly orient that one. So it should be minus x and minus 1 over x. So we should have to show that f of x is given as, should be now given as f of 1 over x. So try to show if this is true, and I also try to have this problem out at your own time. And let's say we have f of t is given as a t minus x divided by, let's say, a t plus y. So now show that f of a t plus y should be that plus f of should be x minus y is equal, should be negative 2y squared divided by that of x squared and plus 2xy. You should have to show that one if it is really true according to the principle behind. And also at your own time, try to also have to go by this problem as well. Let's say we have f of z is given as, let's say, 3z minus 4 divided by, let's say, a 5z minus, let's say, should be 3. Now what is f of now a 3z minus 4 and divided by now 5z minus 3? So what is the value of that one? You should also have to try to cooperate with that problem. And we also have this problem as well. Let's say f of x is given as, now let's say we have ax plus b divided by, let's say, cx minus a. Now show that f of ax plus b over, let's say, it should be cx minus a is equal to x. Also try to show that one as well. But now this is how you have to understand about how you have to play around with the domain as well as the range, input as well as the output. So there are several problems that you have to practice in different books. So just have to go through different problems in the books, and you'll be able to practice different problems. And also at your own time, you should have to try these problems. Let's say we have, that should be this now. Let me just have to create some spacing. Let's say we have h of x is given as 1 minus 2x squared, should be now 2x squared. Should be 2x squared. So now what is h of, let's say, h of 5 over 6, and what is h of, let's say, 2, and also what is h of h plus x. So also have to try those problems as well. Thank you.